Good morning, Namaskar. Jiten Mishra, I welcome you all to this virtual discourse. It's a pleasure to see you all, dear friends, this morning. First of all, I welcome Professor Anil Sarwal, who is the keynote speaker of our discourse today morning. And I also welcome our former speakers, our former eminent guests, and all other dear friends who have joined us this morning. Friends, we know that before we start saying the prayers, I would like to draw your kind attention that our country is going through a critical time. And of course, we are very cautiously happy that the effect of the deadly second wave of the pandemic is slowly, very slowly dying down. But simultaneously, we have to be very careful and express the appropriate COVID appropriate behavior so that we protect ourselves, our dear ones, our neighborhood, our community, and our country as a whole. In order to heal the people who are afflicted in the hospitals, there are thousands of them, and all of us, we have lost some of our friends, our dear ones. So we will be starting with some healing prayers and some prayers for protection of humanity, protection of all of us. This morning we have, let me see who are available with us for saying prayers. Mr. Shinoy, first I will request Mrs. Vasanti Shinoy will be reciting a prayer for us. Then after that, I can't see, I can't see. And the second prayer will be said by Mr. Mogwelpur. Let me see if I have anyone else saying the prayers. Okay, dear friends, we'll have two prayers. First, the prayer will be by Mrs. Basanti Shinoy, and second one will be by Mr. Mogwelpur, Turas Mogwelpur. So please unmute yourself, Mrs. Basanti.
तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है, हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है, हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा स्मरण ही मेरी औषधि है, हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है, हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा सामीप्य ही मेरी आशा, तेरा प्रेम ही मेरा सहचर, हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है, हे मेरे ईश्वर। मुझ पर तेरी अनुकंपा ही मेरी निरोगता, इहलोक तथा परलोक दोनों में मेरी आफत सहायक है। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है, वस्तुतः तू ही है सर्व प्रदाता सर्वज्ञ एवं सर्व प्रज्ञ हे मेरे ईश्वर हे मेरे ईश्वर तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है हे मेरे ईश्वर तेरा स्मरण ही मेरी औषधि है हे मेरे ईश्वर तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है हे मेरे ईश्वर हे मेरे ईश्वर हे मेरे ईश्वर हे मेरे ईश्वर हे मेरे ईश्वर
O God, my God, shield thy trusted servants from the evils of self and passion. Protect them with the watchful eye of thy loving kindness from all rancor, hate, and envy. Shelter them in the impregnable stronghold of thy care and save from the darts of doubtfulness. Make them the manifestations of thy glorious Son. Illumine their faces with effulgent rays, shed from the day stream of thy divine unity. Gladden their hearts with the verses revealed from thy holy kingdom. Strengthen their loins by thine all-strong power that cometh from the realm of glory. Thou art the all-bountiful, the protector, the almighty, the gracious. Abdul Baha.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bashanti, for the wonderful chant, Mr. Mokbel for a wonderful recital. Thank you so much. I'm sure that these prayers will rejuvenate our spirit, and the divine angels are going to bless our noble initiative that we are doing solely for the purpose of awareness and education of the friends. Friends, before we introduce the keynote speaker this morning and the subject, usually what we introduce to the friends who are joining for the first time, the purpose of undertaking these initiatives and organizing this kind of seminars. I will do that for a few minutes, and then our keynote speaker will address us. We know that this is to draw your kind attention that these programs are organized by the members of the Baha'i community, and the core principles of the Baha'i community is oneness of God, oneness of religions, and oneness of mankind. So all the activities of the Baha'i communities revolve around these core principles in order to raise awareness that we are all one, we are children of one God, and we have to render our efforts in the best possible manner to contribute to the society and to bring about an ever advancing civilization. Uh, we believe that, every man is rich in gems of inestimable value, and education can release the treasures latent within the human beings. So therefore, all our efforts are for educating, bringing about awareness. Uh, a lack of adequate understanding about the core concepts of human existence has been a prime issue for afflicting the society and for creating lots of issues in the community. So therefore, education stays as the focus of the Baha'i community, and we have lots of initiatives for the young adults, for the children, and for the adults to create unifying vision and to create a better society. In this regard, today's program, today's initiative that the theme of the seminar today is the evolution, the social and spiritual evolution of humanity, how the revelation, how the revelation of God, the single revelation of God has been able to, uh, take humanity to a better stage from the stage of childhood. Uh, Now we are in the stage of transition and growing towards maturity. Um, Not taking much time, I would like to now introduce today's keynote speaker, uh, Professor Anil Sarwal, who is an educator, who is a scholar, who has scores of articles and papers to his credit and a book to his credit, and he is a very wild travel person. He has hundreds of presentations across many countries of the world. He's a member of the National Governing Council of the Baha'is in India. And so we have invited this morning to address us. And I'm sure we're going to learn and enrich our understanding about the core concept of religion, which has been causing a lot of havoc in the society. So I would now like to request Professor Anil Sarwal to kindly address us. Professor Sarwal, if you can unmute yourself.
Good morning, dear friends. I am grateful to Dr. Jitan Mishra to allow me to participate in this wonderful gathering, in this series of discourses. However, Jitan this morning has served a lot to eat on my platter. So you have something to do with social evolution, spiritual evolution, then the concept of learning, and God, who is actually an unknowable essence, and then progressive revelation, and much more. So all these items have to be eaten and digested in some 20 minutes. I have left out some difficult ones. And I want to tell you that I don't consider myself any scholar. I'm no more than a learner on the path. So on this note, dear friends, let's begin. So you see on your screen the topic, and you have the building blocks. I have just clicked one of them and unveiled one of them, which is the Baha'i House of Worship in New Delhi. But let's talk about human evolution. Now, when we talk about human evolution, for the first time in history, it's possible for everyone to view the entire planet with all its different and diversified people, but in one perspective. However, wars and violence have not stopped. And if we have to correct this situation, we need to have a strong conviction. And the conviction is that world peace is not only possible, but inevitable. It is the next stage in the evolution of this planet. In the words of one great thinker, we are at the stage of the planetization of humankind. And you might have heard the news that US government has released videos of some UFOs visiting our planet. So if we don't do it ourselves, maybe God will do, and aliens would unite us. Then we would overcome our differences that we see on the planet. So friends, actually, when we go into the space, we see the earth as one. Earth is but one country, and humankind its citizens. That's what Baha'u'llah revealed a long time ago. Now, what does it mean? The earth is but one country and mankind its citizens. You know what it means? Baha'u'llah's vision tells us that there should be a world government, a world parliament, there would be world weights and measures. Now also, when you go to other countries, some countries you drive on the right hand side, we drive on the left. So even if you know how to drive a car, you are prone to an accident because you will instinctively drive to the left, and there it is, you have to drive to the right. So we need such things like world currency, world language, world weights and measures, world tribunal, and even a universal faith, world faith. What kind of universal faith we have to imagine? At the Parliament of Religion in Chicago in 1893, Swami Vivekananda expounded in clear and simple terms the Vedanta philosophy of religion, or Vedanta philosophy, system of philosophy. And he told the Congress that if there is ever to be universal religion, it must be the one which will be infinite, like the God it will preach, and whose sun will shine upon the followers of Krishna and of Christ, on saints and sinners alike, which will not be Brahminic or Buddhist, Christian or Mohammedan, but the sum total of all these, and still have infinite space for development. When we are talking about evolution, this is the kind of religion we need, which in its Catholicity, Swamiji continues, will embrace in its infinite arms and find a place for every human being, from the lowest groveling savage to the highest man, towering by virtues of his head and heart, almost above humanity, making society stand in awe of him and doubt his human nature. That is the kind of religion we need, which will exalt us even higher than being a human. And he says it will be a religion which will have no place, please note the words, for persecution or intolerance in its polity, which will recognize divinity in every man and woman, and whose scope, whose force will be centered in aiding humanity to realize its own truth, its divine nature. So that is the definition of religion according to the system of Vedanta. So what are the essential? You see the building blocks here on the side of the slide. What are the building blocks for human progress? These are love, unity, peace, cooperation, cohesion, and consultation. This is how humanity has developed. And therefore, we have felt the need more than ever in the recent times of having the right human values. Look at what is happening, what COVID has taught us. We are all one. Earth is one. And if we do not have the right human values, and if we don't care for human rights, what can happen to the world? People are dying in thousands. Nobody is bothered. So friends, if we really want to go ahead from where we are now, we have to rethink how we are living and where will this kind of lifestyle, the modern lifestyle, lead us to. So that brings me also to the topic of role and science and religion. Science is enabling us to safeguard, to protect humanity. But if it is allowed to do so, if it is coupled with religion, it will be allowed because it will, that kind of investigation would bring up compassion, kindness, and protection for all, not destruction. So science and religion are not to be seen as contradictory. They are actually having complementary roles, and through both these pillars, humanity would progress. They are like the two wings of the bird of humanity. And without these wings, humanity cannot fly. Now, in the 20th century, as a young man, I used to dream of the 21st century. I'm a student of literature, so I'd read a lot of science fiction and seen a lot of movies, space wars, this, that. And I used to think that 21st century would be almost bringing paradise on earth. And it would be even more developed than the greatest poets and fiction writers have ever explained. And yet, what do we witness? Look at some of the barriers to social and spiritual progress that exist at the moment. So you have racism. In the most developed country of the world, can you imagine? The whole country was moved to counter racism, black and white. We don't. I went to university in Canada, and I was put on the stage along with a panel of speakers, and they told me to speak that there should not be any difference on the basis of color. Black and white and brown and yellow, all human beings are same. And I just said to them, I said, look, you cut anyone's finger, the blood is red. And they paid me $50 for saying that. $50 just for saying yellow, black, white, all human beings are same and there is no difference. And also we have so much of gender difference, and unfortunately in the modern times we have so much dispute on religious belief. So this barrier we have to really, all kinds of prejudices we have to overcome. The next point on the screen is the inordinate disparity between the rich and the poor. You see, if you want to progress, you have to have equality and justice. Baha'u'llah says, the first beloved in his sight is justice. Baha'u'llah is the founder prophet of the Baha'i faith, which stands for oneness of God, oneness of religion, and oneness of humanity. He says the best beloved is justice. Now, if there are people who are so very rich beyond imagination, and if there are people who are dying of thirst, recently on television, you saw some people died because of lack of water. A mother was traveling with the daughter and they did not have water. The daughter died. The mother just fainted and somehow she was saved. She was saved. So much disparity. This has to end. The system has to be evolved where there will be, and this is also true of countries, the rich countries and the poor countries. Now, the next barrier is unbridled nationalism. It is all right to love one's own country. It is good, but it is better to love one's own kind. So there is a place for the love of the motherland. A sane kind of patriotism is good, but unbridled nationalism, creating wars, trying to occupy other territories, trying to project you are the best, this kind of ideology will not work in this day of planetization of humankind. And we have talked about religious strife. We will look at how to resolve. This is the topic of the seminar, actually, of this discourse. How to overcome religious strife. Then the question of equality between men and women. I think in India, in many countries, they are gaining more and more equal status. But in India also, I think that because I have interviewed thousands of candidates, I find young people are saying that young men and women are getting more equal status now. Even parents are giving more freedom to the girls to be educated. to do what they want to do in their life, which was not possible till recent times. However, I do not know really the situation in rural India. I suspect to some extent it is becoming better, but still you see so much violence against women on television, the rape and other things, other crimes, and you wonder what's happening in this 21st century. And one of the reasons for these kind of problems is the lack of educational opportunity for many people around the world. Even in India, we are not giving as much as is needed to universal education. Our resources are very meager, and therefore we cannot cater to this whole concept of universal education. It's a slogan which all politicians swear by, but actually on the ground, very little money is being given to achieve this goal. And therefore, there is a fundamental lack of communication between people, and this divides us further. So let's talk about the role of religion in the spiritual progress of humanity. In the Baha'i writings, we read, religion should unite all hearts and cause wars and disputes to vanish from the face of the earth. Give birth to spirituality and bring life and light to each heart. I don't know whether you think this is the concept of religion today in most people's mind. How do they view religion? Why are so many people not agreeing to live a religious life? And then in the Baha'i writings, it is said, if religion becomes a cause of dislike, hatred and division, which we see sometimes amidst us, it were better to be without it. And to withdraw from such a religion would be a truly religious act. Look at that statement. If a religion becomes a cause of hatred and division, one should withdraw from that religion. And doing so would be a truly religious act. So, actually speaking, as also mentioned in the Baha'i writings, religion is the greatest of all means for the establishment of order in the world and peaceful contentment of all that dwell in this world. We have to view religion. Now, where does religion come from? All the religions say that the source of religion is God. Now, what is the concept of God? You see, we are fighting in the name of God. It is true, in the 21st century, I can't believe what I am telling you, but I see it. You know, my God is different from your God. My, I don't want to name, in different languages, there are names of God, and people are fighting on those names. If a person prays in Arabic, other people hate him or her. If a person prays in Hindi or Sanskrit, the other people hate them. And if a person prays to God in English, so many others hate. And they think God, Allah, Parmeshwar, Ishwar, Rab, all these are different people. Some call him Jehovah, some call him by other names. And they're fighting because of a linguistic problem of translation. So Baha'i writings clarify that God is essentially monotheistic. He is imperishable, uncreated being who is the source of all existence. That is why God is important. We have not come into being because of a natural accident. We are not here because of coming together of atoms or elements. We have been created. This kind of belief in God changes one's entire life and how we live our life. If we know that God is the creator, then we will definitely have a different lifestyle than those who are non-believers. By the by, I think very few people don't believe in God. I meet most people believe in God. In the Baha'i writings part, he is described as unknowable, inaccessible, the source of all revelation. Now, revelation means, in other words, religion. And God is eternal, omniscient, omnipresent, and almighty. So friends, this is the kind of God that is depicted in the Baha'i writings, who is basically an unknowable essence. We can feel him, but nobody can ever maybe describe him or come to know. I mean, we don't have that equipment. So I am left with little time. Jitin, how much is it? 20 minutes? 5 minutes more? 7 minutes more?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So let's talk about religion. Now here I have written religion is one. And when I was searching, I was doing my investigation of the Baha'i faith. I came across this one line, religion is one. And I had read Buddhism, I had read, I'd done a diploma in Bible studies before I became a Baha'i. I was going to temple every day. And I really thought there are different religions in the world. But then I came to know as a Baha'i, religion is Sanatan. Sanatan means eternal. And it is one. And the different religions we see are different chapters in the book of religion. We'll talk about it later when we talk about progressive revelation. And we have to understand that God's love encompasses every individual, and we can all attain his presence. It is not that God loves some people more than others, and there are superior race or inferior races, but God loves all. And therefore, from time to time, he sends manifestations of God. So having said that, another important point we have to learn when we talk about God and us, that we are human. Human is body here. What we see is body. But what we are, who we are, that is soul, not body. Body is perishable. It will die after some time. It will stop functioning after some time. But our soul is everlasting. And this again gives to an other orientation of life, orientation to living. Because if you think that you are soul, you will live in a different way. Then you will pray, you will meditate, you will connect with God, and you will like to have spiritual progress. But if you're not conscious about that, then you will always be catering to the pleasures of the flesh, always be trying to please your body with different things. And ultimately, it doesn't give you contentment. Howsoever, you may go to the best hotel, you may have a best dance with the most beautiful girl, you may have the best, choicest wine in the world, you may go to any very beautiful place, which according to you, it does not give you content. Contentment comes through connection with the divine spirit, with God. Because it is our soul's longing to connect with its creator, which brings contentment. So this is our innate capacity, inborn capacity God has given us. When we are born, Abdul Baha talks about 3 types of character. He talks about innate character. And he says all human beings have this innate character, that is the capacity to know God and to worship. That is built in the human beings. And the second thing we have to remember is that God is the unknowable essence. But in order to cater to our spiritual development, to show us the way, he appears from age to age. So this is what Lord Krishna says. Lord Krishna is an avatar. He is a manifestation of God. He is a prophet like Muhammad, like Jesus, like Baha'u'llah, like the Bab. And he reveals this secret to Arjuna. Lord Krishna says, although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, I still appear in every age in my original transcendental form. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principle of religion. He does not say he comes to establish religion. Religion came when we were born, when humanity was created. At that very point, religion was there. But people forget religion. There is rise of a religion. And so the manifestations of God come to correct that situation. And he comes to re-establish the principle of religion. And he says, I myself, I means God, myself appear from age to age. The problem is when God appears or God's light shines through a pure vessel, through a manifestation of God, many people don't recognize him. And Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered with by my eternal creative potency, Yog Maya. And so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. If we do not recognize the manifestation of God, we will find the situation that we are in today. And Baha'u'llah asserts the same. I am running short of time. I will just skip this. But this is the theme of our discourse today. Baha'u'llah says religious truth is not absolute but relative, that all the great religions of the world are divine in origin, that their basic principles are in complete harmony, that their aims and purposes are one and the same, that their teachings are but facets of one truth, that their functions are complementary, that they differ only in non-essential aspects of their doctrines, and their missions represent successive stages of spiritual evolution of human society. So this is the famous Baha'i drawing or chart on progressive revelation. You see these different chapters in the book of religion: Judaism, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, then the Baha'i revelation, starting with the Bab and Baha'u'llah. So we have talked about the manifestations of God and their what they do in this world. They establish ethical ideas and prompt us to adopt highest standards. Now, one or two last points, just 1 or 2 minutes more. I hope Jitan wouldn't mind. Just 2-3 minutes more. I am a professor, so I generally take a class of 45 minutes. Now he has asked me to speak only for 20 minutes. So I ask his forgiveness, 1 or 2 minutes more. So you see, we have to have a coherence between the material and spiritual life. And until, he says, it is the Baha'i writing here, material civilization is one of the means for the progress of the world of mankind. Until it is combined with divine civilization, the desired result, which is the felicity of mankind, will not be attained. Material civilization is like a body. No matter how infinitely graceful, elegant, and beautiful it may be, it is dead. Divine civilization is like the spirit, and the body gets its life from the spirit. Otherwise, it becomes a corpse. Without the spirit, the world of mankind is lifeless. And without this light, the world of mankind is in utter darkness. So the takeaway from this talk is that individual is the building block. If individuals do not change, the world will not change. So what should be the goals of an individual life? It should be to know God and to worship him. How do we do that? Through prayer, meditation, fasting, and also independent investigation of truth. That is very important. So God is in our heart. The temple of God is in human heart, and we have to worship him there. And the next one is that we have to inculcate virtues. Virtues are divine qualities like truthfulness, which is the foundation of all virtues, kindness, self-confidence. There is virtues project in the world with 52 virtues defined, and virtues training is available. The third point that Jitin put in there reminds me of the goals of 21st century education, which is to be in the learning mode. And what should we do? We should learn to learn, learning to learn, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. And that would give us a new mindset. If we don't have new mindset, very difficult to negotiate in this 21st century. And the earlier paradigms do not hold good. We cannot apply the agrarian society's paradigm or industrial ages paradigm to this new age in which we are living. So we should work for the creation of an ever advancing civilization. That is, we should not discover bombs. We should not spend billions of dollars on the weapons of war that would destroy humanity many times over. But we should work on, for example, remedies for viruses, for health, for education, these things. And in India, communal harmony is our greatest challenge. So from all this talk, we know that God is very kind. Messengers are having different human shapes. They appear in different places, but their essence is one. So actually, with this concept, we can create communal harmony in the country. And how we should live, we should serve the needy. That is very important, especially in the COVID times. We have to really help the poor people and the needy. So friends, I have just shared a few ideas on this profound subject. And as I said, in this time, neither all the dishes can be eaten nor digested. So I have just presented you a few ideas, and I request you to further explore them. Internet is a good tool now for learning new things as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Sarwal, for your wide-ranging talk and for explaining us humanity's spiritual and social evolution, progressive revelation, and the role of religions in the society, and many other ideas you shared with us. Thank you so much. The problem is that, in the most of the discussions, in most of the conferences, seminars, everyone agrees that all the religions are one and the same. We should respect each other, we should love each other. That's the problem. Everyone agrees, no one disagrees. But then at the same time, we see that there is a rising on intolerance and rising fanaticism in the society. How do we handle that? How do we know that? We know that prime reason of this is the inadequate understanding of the concept of religion and prejudice and vested interest. So that we're going to handle now. We have Dr. Ike Merchant with us. He will share with us some of the motivational quotes from the Holy Scriptures, and then we will keep the floor open. We will hear the thoughts of several of my friends who are highly knowledgeable people. They're highly well-read, and they will share their thoughts with us, what they think and how we can overcome this crisis. Now I request Dr. Merchant, will you kindly read the motivational quotes? Merchant, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I've got unmuted now. Yes. Friends, once again, respectful greetings to all the distinguished participants and to our esteemed keynote speaker. And thank you very much, Dr. Jiten Mishra, for this 7th virtual discourse. Here are the motivational quotes that I'd like to present to all of you. First, from the Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle. Whenever virtue subsides and wickedness prevails, I manifest myself to establish virtue, to destroy evil, to save the good. I come from age to age. That's Lord Krishna. Then from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Lord said, I have taken thousands of births, lived thousands of lives, and accepted thousands of names. In fact, my births, activities, and names are limitless. Then we have verses from the Holy Quran. It is God who created 7 heavens, and of earth their like. Between them, the command descending, that you may know that God is powerful over everything and that God encompasses everything. Say, we believe in God and in what has been revealed to us and what was revealed to Abraham, to Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribes, and in the books given to Moses, Jesus, and the prophets from their sustainer. We make no distinction between one and another. From the Holy Bible, you heard me say, I am going away and I'm coming back to you. If you loved me, you would rejoice that I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. Behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all tribes of the earth will wail on account of him. Next page, we'll have to, yes. Again, this is again from the Bible. If I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say, he is our God. I am the way and the truth and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. Those are the words of Jesus Christ. From the Baha'i writings, immerse yourselves in the ocean of my words, Baha'u'llah says, that ye may unravel its secrets and discover all the pearls of wisdom that lie hid in its depths. This is the changeless faith of God, eternal in the past, eternal in the future. It is clear and evident that all the prophets are the temples of the cause of God, who have appeared clothed in diverse attire. If thou wilt observe with discriminating eyes, thou wilt behold them all abiding in the same tabernacle, soaring in the same heaven, seated upon the same throne, uttering the same speech, and proclaiming the same faith. The bearers of the trust of God are made manifest unto the peoples of the earth as the exponents of a new cause and the bearers of a new message. Inasmuch as these birds of the celestial throne are all sent down from the heaven of the will of God, and as they all arise to proclaim his irresistible faith, they therefore are regarded as one soul and the same person. For they all drink from the one cup of the love of God, and all partake of the fruit of the same tree of oneness. The foundation underlying all the divine precepts is one reality, and reality is one. Therefore, the foundation of the divine religions is one. But we can see that certain forms and ceremonies have crept in. They are heretical. They are accidental because they differ. Hence, they cause differences among religions. If we set aside all superstitions and see the reality of the foundation, we shall all agree, because religion is one and not multiple. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Merchant. And now before we hear the views of other friends, we will take a group photograph. Friends, kindly switch on your videos. We're going to take a group photograph, which will be followed by the comments and thoughts of the friends who have joined. Adib, please take the group photograph, please. Just hold on for a while. Let friends switch on the cameras. Take up both the screens. Adib, is it done? The second screen also. It's done. Okay. Thank you very much, friends. I request all of you to positively participate and please raise your hands if you want to share your views so that we will unmute you and you can share your questions or comments or observations. I see several of my friends who are very well read. They can share their views. First, I will give chance to Mr. Mishra, who has joined us from Cuttack, Mr. Nishikant Mishra. Adib, can you please unmute him?
Am I audible, Dr. Mishra?
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for inviting me to share some of my thoughts on the topic, or rather on the context. What Professor Anil Sarwal has told and said, we were very attentive and very concentrated during his talk. And from all religion quotations also, that was very interesting. But the thing is that I would like to start with Dr. Mishra's very pragmatic observation that we intellectually understand everything. We cognitively realize the truth. But so far as the action is concerned, the implementation or the conversion into the practical life is concerned, rather so-called uneducated people are very innocent, but so-called cognitively sensitive people, they are very hypocritical and deprivative. Therefore, what Dr. Jiten Mishra has raised a very pertinent question, that what exactly happens if we understand, then where is the action value? Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra. But the thing is that there are two words. One is value and price. Another is culture and civilization. Value is the weightage, but price is only the apparent economic thing which is attached to it. Culture is what we are, but civilization is what we have. You know that UNESCO of United Nations organizations has classified and defined the range of human values in 5 categories. That is individual values, family values, social values, national values, and last, which is most important, that is international values, which is universal in nature. And in United Nations General Assembly, most of the countries, including atheist, theist, agnostics countries, they do share that these human values or international values or universal values are the true foundations and scientific observation of the human life. And so far as the today's title of the topic is concerned, I do not know who has put it, though it is Baha'u'llah's philosophy. Each and every vocabulary by itself is very wing and very containing. Humanities, social, spiritual, evolution, learning, embrace, immutable, indivisible, progressive, revulsions. Oh my God. If somebody makes a slide shows by taking all these 8-9 words, that itself takes more than 1 hour talk. But the thing is that so far as the social and spiritual is concerned, again we are doing a cognitive self-deprivation to it. But what I feel that the application in our day-to-day life, spiritual is nothing but the application conduct of our day-to-day life. So social is nothing. It is only the external application of the spiritual life. When we say that social and spiritual, we common people normally, those who have realized, they have understood it properly, that there is a difference. But if I pray God, if I believe God, if I talk of all religion harmony, and if I talk of the progressive revulsions, what is revulsions? That is the inculcative value of the human life, the gradual realization of the innate truth or the inborn truth. And so far as the social and spiritual is concerned, if I realize the God's value, and if I talk of all religion, harmony, etc., but if I don't talk to my neighbor properly, my elderly parents properly, if my outsiders, commuters properly, the whole problem arises. So at last, I will not take much of your times. I must thank Dr. Mishra and Professor Sarwal and other participants. I was seeing the participants list, more than 50 participants are very tremendously participating in this. So in this seminar. So finally, I would like to say that now responsibility lies with us more. The so-called uneducated, uncultured, unrefined, so-called people, rather they do play a very positive role than us, those who claim to be, or we claim to be that we are very cognitively sensible or very cognitively sensitive. So thank you very much. I hope that the cognitive sensitivity, the intellectual understanding needs a functional value. Thank you very much.
Analytical, and you have shared so pertinent views. Actually, the very purpose of all these discourses is for that purpose only, is for awareness of the friends and for change of mindset and for change of culture, and for bringing about a kind of positive consciousness within us. Friends, any other friends would like to share, please raise your hand so that I can see, and then we will unmute you. Okay. So is Mr. Bhupinder Singh there? Is Mr. Bhupinder Singh? Are you there? I can't see. Please unmute him. Please unmute him. Please, Mr. Abneet, would you like to share your views? Please.
Yeah, I would like to share my views. If we see the summation of all the values, like the conflict, which are rising from the spiritual education, formal education, scientific education, even after being educated, this summation is the use. The value comes when we are using it. By the way of application, the value comes. If we are just knowing it and we are not using it or applying it, the education has got no value. The value comes only if we use it. So, to my perception, the seva path, all the service of fellow humans, defines a true religious spirit. And in the modern religion system, it is said If the person wants to be in high spirit, then he has to serve the fellow humans. That is the only way to get the high spiritual value. If we know the religion, if we know the spiritual education also, if we are not using it, it has got no relevance. It is not worth. That is my opinion. That's all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abnit, for sharing the crux of the ideas. That's actually true, what you shared. It is so true. It's not enough just to acknowledge that we have to respect the religion and consider them as just separate entities. We have to transcend beyond our narrow thinking and think that all these religions have come from the same source, and acknowledge the manifestation of God or the messenger of God, and go with their spiritual principles in their life and embrace everyone in the society. Okay, Mr. Singh, Mr. Bhupinder Singh. Mr. Bhupinder Singh, are you there?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. So,
I'm audible.
yes, yes. Please share your views, and then after some time, we will you will conduct the statement of pledges.
Yes, surely, surely. First of all, I mean, thanks to a very, very, very enriching and very meaningful talk by today's speaker, today's keynote speaker, and very beautifully and very, you see, he has pinpointed on one of the most important aspects of the so-called, dharma, the religion, what it means, and no doubt. uh, to make dharma or religion meaningful in reality, there is not only the need to first know what is dharma. First of all, one must understand what is dharma, because in case there somebody has a wrong perception or a wrong understanding of the dharma, then the desired targets, the desired destination would not be attained by the seeker. So first thing is to know what is the true, the correct meaning of the religion, what does it constitute, what does it mean, and then, as our brother who just spoke before me, he stated that seva is certainly a way to attain, to actually practice dharma. No doubt, it is one of the foremost ways to attain the ultimate. So, and as the keynote speaker spoke a very beautiful sentence, which I liked very much, and which is the truth. What is it? That in case, I mean, I don't remember it, word by word, but what he stated was that in case the religion, the so-called religion, which anybody is practicing, if it results in hatred towards other beings or towards anybody, it is not religion, and it should be discarded. It was stated that such a religion should be discarded. So in fact, that in essence is not a religion which can result in development of hatred towards others, or I should say it in other words, that such a person has not understood what dharma or religion actually means. And as the keynote speaker also stated, that the different people have come, different individuals have come. Baha'u'llah is one of them, Krishna is one of them, Muhammad is one of them, Buddha is one of them. They all have spoken the same thing. The religion is, no doubt, it is one. The oneness of the entire existence is the essence. The moment you, everybody feel the truth of this oneness, only then, not only, I mean, I should not say only then, only should be used very sparingly. I mean, that is a prerequisite to actually attain universal brotherhood. That is necessary to walk on the path of dharma, because till the time I consider the other person standing in front of me different than what I am, different than who I am essentially, I would always consider, yeah, he is somebody else, I am, and I should think about myself, my well-being, and why should I consider about the well-being of the others. So this concept of oneness, the conviction that yes, I am one with the butterfly, with the rat, with the cat, with the dog, with the with the pig, with the gutter, with the mountain, with the trees, with the car, with the building, with every aspect of the existence. When I understand this oneness and when I have firm conviction in this oneness, then I move towards, I or anybody move towards the love, universal brotherhood, and the concept of oneness. And that is very essential. So I would again congratulate also and appreciate today's keynote speaker, because he has spoken very, very, very meaningful sentences. Though, as he said, it is very difficult to cover all aspects, but no doubt in 1 hour he has spoken very well, and he has covered most of the important aspects of the religion. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And my greetings to all attendees. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Mr. Kishore, Mr. Kaushal Kishore, would you like to share your views, please? I can't see you. You have raised your hand. Please share your views. Are you there, Mr. Kishore? Okay, I think I can't see him. Oh, he's there. Mr. Kishore? Okay, all right. Maybe his audio has some issues. Okay, next, we have two wonderful singers with us. Can we have a song before we proceed to the next program? Mr. Hemati is there with us, and Madam Pina also there with us. Maybe I can request Mr. Hemati, will you be able to sing a song for us? Will you be kind enough to sing a song for us?
It will be my privilege, but I'm out of the station and I'm on my mobile. Somehow I'm trying to connect, but I'm really not in Kharagpur. Please excuse me this time. Thank you.
Oh, you are on the mobile. Okay, okay. Okay. That's the difficulty. Okay. What about Madam Pina? Madam Pina?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
What did they want me to do?
Yes, please sing a song for us. Madam Pina?
Yes, I'm trying to unmute.
Okay, no, you are unmuted. You are already unmuted.
My video, I'm trying the video to on. Okay. Rely upon God, trust in Him, praise Him and call Him continually to mind. He verily turneth trouble into ease, sorrow into
Thank you so much, Madam Pina. The next program is the reading of the statement of places. Adib, can you please unmute the friends? Friends, please unmute yourself. We are going to repeat the statement of places, which will be conducted by Mr. Bhupinder Singh. This is a general exercise we do at the end of the program in all the discourses. This is just to remind ourselves what is our role after this discourse. That is actually the main focus of all these initiatives we do. As we know, this is not an intellectual exercise. We try to make sure that the friends who join, they go back with a little bit of learning that we try to share here and try to bring some changes around us. So, Mr. Singh, are you there with us?
Yes, I am very much here. Can you hear me?
Please. Yes. Please
Yes,
go ahead with the plays. Mr. Singh will read the plays, and then all of us, we will repeat after him.
Okay. May I begin?
Yes.
We recognize that religion of God is one.
We recognize that
the religion of God is one.
Indivisible, changeless, and eternal in nature.
Indivisible, changeless, eternal in nature.
Its purpose has always been to promote unity.
Its purpose has always been
Always
to
promote unity
and foster love and fellowship among men.
and foster love and fellowship among men.
We promise to permeate
Permeate
such positive understanding among all those who cross our path.
among all who cross our path.
We understand that various religions
various religions
brought to mankind by a series of divine teachers
brought to mankind by these of divine teachers
are sent by God as part of his plan
sent by God as part of his plan
to enhance mankind's capacity
mankind's capacity
for its spiritual maturity and social progress. We pledge to educate all those who assume erroneously that religions are separate entities. We recognize that religious truth is not absolute.
We recognize
that religious truth is not absolute,
but progressive, continuous,
continuous,
and revealed gradually to mankind as per the requirement of time and maturity of the people.
As per the requirement of time and maturity of the people.
We undertake to diffuse this impeccable understanding
We undertake to diffuse this impeccable understanding
to promote unity and communal amity.
Unity and communal amity.
We understand that God is one.
We understand
that God is one.
And the prophets sent by him utter the same truth. Sit on the same throne. And proclaim the same faith. We take vow to spread this truth. And become a unifying force in the community. We thus understand that there is
We thus
Thus understand that there is
one source of all divine religions,
one source of all the divine religions
which have collectively and equitably
which have
collectively and equitably
contributed to humanity's
contributed to humanity,
spiritual and social evolution.
spiritual and social evolution.
We promise to spread
we promise to spread
Spread
this immutable understanding
this immutable understanding
understanding
to facilitate the advance of an enduring civilization.
facilitate
the advance of an enduring civilization.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. Thank you so much. So friends, the conclusion is that we know that one of the fundamental aspects of human life, as Professor Sarwal is drawing our attention, is to investigate the reality. So all of us in our individual life should make sure that we investigate the reality of all these religions, the dogmatic expressions or interpretations of religion. And while investigating the truth, we must understand that we should be staying bias-free while investigating the truth for ourselves. And if we believe that God is one, it is illogical to think that God could create multiplicity of religions because he couldn't compete against himself. It is not possible and illogical. So with this note, friends, I thank all of you. I thank Professor Anil Sarwal first, our keynote speaker. I thank all other dear friends who have joined us this morning. And we promise that we will come back to you in a few weeks' time on another crucial theme in order to carry forward our conversation for a better society. And we hope that you will participate positively and you will support us, support our initiative, and try to share, publicize these initiatives across the society to your friends, to your colleagues, to your neighbors, to your family members, and to your acquaintances, and share your contact so that we can enrich the communications between us and try to bring about a better world where there will be no human misery in the future. And we know that these are not utopian ideas, and it's only a question of time when these glorious ideas will be translated into reality. And of course, it depends on the efforts of all of us collectively. Thank you so much once again to our keynote speaker, to Dr. Merchant, to Mr. Bhupinder Singh, to Mr. Mishra, to all other dear friends who have recited the prayers for us, who have sung the song for us. And please forgive me if I forget somebody's name. And I do let us remember each other in our prayers and support each other in this critical time. And we request you to stay home, stay safe, and support each other. And that's the best thing we can do at this time. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Have a great day.